we put out through the media. They publicized it. We know who won, and we're looking for photographs. I think about 2 days later, we got one in from up north somewhere that some spectator had shot one, and that's what we used to make the decision.
61 hours later, Lee Petty was declared the official winner, and the Daytona legend was born.
The inaugural Daytona 500 was a great NASCAR moment. Some would say it was the greatest ever. Without the first, there never would have been all of the other classic finishes. There may not have been the building boom of the 60s that led to the construction of over half of the speedways that are on today's current schedule. The Daytona 500 is NASCAR's Super Bowl, and the construction of the Daytona International Speedway is a lasting monument to its founder's incredible vision.
That's them.
Naughty little beavers.
What's for lunch?
Pimber and jelly.
Ham and cheese.
Another day.
Morning, boys.
Another dollar.
How are you?
Morning, Mr. France.
Nice looking shirt you got on there.
Doug, these drivers are ready, and they are looking sharp. Right you are, Chuck.
There's the green, and the chase is on.
Chase Authentics Apparel.
That's why it's called the Intimidator.
The chase is on.
And it's a fight to the finish.
Congratulations. Yes, sir. Had a good run today.
Yeah, thanks a million.
Nice check.
Nice shirt.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
People think I live a pampered life, but I work hard to keep up my business. For example, no matter how late I was out the night before or how much I want to hit that snooze button, I always manage to wake up first thing in the morning and catch that 11 a.m. Sports Center.
Powering up. You got it. 3 homers in 3 days of tornado tactics to start the season.
It's not easy, but it's all about commitment.
This is a NASCAR 2000 Thought for the Future, brought to you by the Home Depot.
It's a long, hard road to get there, but if that's your dream, stick to it. And you know, there's ups and downs. It's just like a large roller coaster. I mean, you're going to have really good days and you're going to have really bad days. But the drivers and the people that are involved in this sport, the ones that are successful are the ones that take the good days and accept them, but can also accept the bad days and weather the storm. I mean, when you have a bad day, you can't let it get you down. You have to just pick yourself back up and go back to your game plan the next week and do it all over again. So, you know, perseverance is a big part of this sport.
Heroes. Every sport needs them. NASCAR has drivers, owners, mechanics, track owners, and race organizers that are heroes. People of action that transcend sport and reach across gender, race, and fan allegiance. NASCAR history is rich with heroes, and those heroes are at the foundation of each of NASCAR's greatest moments.
By 1963, the Daytona 500 had established itself as the premier event on the NASCAR schedule. The days leading up to the big race were filled with qualifying races, as well as time trials and feature events from other NASCAR series. Dwayne "Tiny" Lund arrived in Daytona that winter without a ride and very few dollars in his pocket. He had competed in 133 NASCAR events, but had never tasted victory in its top division. Marvin Panch arrived in Daytona with one of the best rides in the business, the Wood Brothers number 21 Ford. 10 days before the 500, fate would intervene, and an historic turn of events would occur.
I had the car qualified for the Wood Brothers, and Ford put a Winston Cup or Grand National type engine into a Maserati, birdcage Maserati, and they wanted some dummy to try it out because they were going to try to break the record. And I was young and stupid, and I said, well, I'll run it. It was Brace Cunningham's car, and I figured, well, if they could run Le Mans and all over, the car has to be all right. So I went out to practice with it, and it felt pretty good. Going through 1 and 2, so I got on down the back stretch, and before I got into the third turn, the thing airborne came down on its side and over on its top, and that baby caught on fire. I couldn't get out of that thing, I could see a flame around the carburetor, and I hollered at the fireman. I said, hey, there's fire there at the carburetor. And I was trying to kick and beat and ram the door open. I couldn't get it open. So there was 7 guys that showed up there. Steve Petracci from Firestone, Tiny Lund, Bill Wimbo, Eddie Gaham. They were there to help me. And they came in and lifted the car up. And when they did, I kicked the door open, and I started out. Got about halfway out, the tank blew up. And so that knocked them back. And then they came back, and Steve, I could hear Steve, yeah, he's still kicking. My legs were still kicking. And they came back in and grabbed the car and lifted it. When they did, Tiny grabbed me by the leg and gave me a jerk and pulled me out.
Panch unable to race because of his injuries, the Wood brothers elected to put Tiny in their car.
And here's Tiny Lund, the fellow who got this ride for his heroic efforts as pulling Marvin Panch out of his burning sports car, was named to drive the car as Panch is being recovering. Tiny Lund doing a great job at car number 21, waiting for his service. He's the leader. He inherited the lead when Lorenzen and Jarrett stopped, and he's trying to hang on to it now with the pit stop, getting close to the half-minute mark, and away he goes.
But here's the guy that everybody has been chasing, Tiny Lund. He's driven a tremendous race, and the checkered flag is out. And here he comes. Under the checkered flag, Tiny Lund has taken it, and this really is a big victory for him at the Daytona 500 on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Lund's victory was one of the most popular in series history. His heroic actions in pulling Panch from the car earned him the Carnegie Medal for heroism. Tiny would go on to win 4 championships in the NASCAR Grand American Touring Series and earn his place in the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. Lund lost his life in a racing accident at Talladega in 1975, but will always be remembered for his heroic actions in coming to the aid of a fellow driver.
No multi-million-dollar contracts, no victory laps, not even a winner's circle. But if you think these weekend warriors who run the SCORE Desert Championship Series take anything for granted, think again. Which is exactly why they run with the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, we back it with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The next time you hit the road, don't settle for anything less.
Hey, we gotta talk. That stuff only protects my vital parts for about 30,000 miles. And then what happens? You gotta change it. Make it easy on yourself. Give me Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. It protects my sensitive parts for 5 years or 150,000 miles. That's 5 times longer than most of those conventional coolants. Now, let's talk oil. Hey!
Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. Add more life to your car.
When it's time for the kill, the sniper sees only the target. Hull and Solani are specialists because anyone can shoot, but few can score. Mighty Ducks, Stars, Friday at 4 on ESPN. This is the game.
Richard Petty's first Daytona 500 gave few hints as to the greatness his career would hold. His father, Lee, would capture 54 career wins and 3 championships in NASCAR's top division. But would that ability rub off on his son?
He never encouraged me in any way in driving a race car. You know, like I say, as time progressed, the cars got to be more race cars, got closer and closer to being race cars. And, you know, I guess I'd say, you know, act like I wanted to drive. And everywhere we went, people said, you know, you going to drive when you grow up? You know, I mean, I said, no, I don't know. You know, one of those kind of deals. And I think it was a foregone conclusion that everybody, except my daddy, was looking at me for driving, even me. But it never was a burning obsession with me. I was happy to work on the car, and Dad go out and win the races and stuff, and that was as far as I wanted to go. And then when I got old enough, you know, Dad was still running, still winning championships and stuff, and I said, well, you know, I'd like to try.
Richard was named NASCAR's Rookie of the Year in 1959, but did not win his first race until 1960. He learned how to race for points from his father, always contending for the season-long championship until in 1964 when he captured his first NASCAR title. Consistently fast, consistently friendly, Petty was considered among the very best. But in 1967, he took himself and NASCAR to a new level. Tim Flock held the record for the most wins in a season when he captured 18 races in 1955, driving for Carl Kiekhaefer. Petty would attack and devour that record with a season that would never be matched in all of NASCAR history. Halfway through the 1967 season, Petty had captured 11 of 24 races, and his Hemi-powered Plymouth was performing flawlessly. By race 37 of the year, he had matched Tim Flock's season record with 18 wins, but that was just a warm-up. In the next 9 races, Petty was untouchable. He won on short tracks, dirt tracks, and super speedways. He won the Southern 500 at Darlington for the first time with a margin of victory of 5 laps over David Pearson.
He's been trying since 1958 to win the race and has never been able to make it. He's won lesser races here, but never the all-important Southern 500, which right now is his. He has won it, and his pit crew cheers him across the line. So Richard Petty, the All-American boy from Randleman, North Carolina, finally pulls off the big one, the Southern 500. You got your first 500, you must feel great.
Well, I tell you, of all the races I've ever won, I'd rather win this race right here.
10 wins in a row for Richard, 27 for the season in 48 races. The margin of victory for his second championship was over 6,000 points. He now was not only a 2-time champion, he had earned the right to be called king.
I think we all call him the king. I think my dad calls him the king. I call him the king. And people ask us why we call him the king all the time. That's all we've ever known him at. When you're at the racetrack, people don't call him Grandfather Richard or Richard Petty. What do you say, the king, or what's up, king? And, you know, I think a good answer to make that easier is that we know how hard it is, and we know what he's done in the sport, so that's why we call him the king, is because he's pretty much mastered what we want to do in the sport, me and my father.
At age 30, he was already first on NASCAR's all-time win list with 75 wins, a 2-time champion, and a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. He taught his fellow competitors that taking time for the fans and taking time for the media was a key to see the sport grow.
I was a Richard Petty fan because I felt like, I'm like, you know, a lot of other race fans. I wanted to pull for the guy that was most likely to win because I wanted to be pulling for a winner. Well, Richard won the majority of the races in the early 70s when, you know, I was, you know, getting started. So I pulled for Richard Petty.
1967 was a great moment for NASCAR. It had an icon it could bank on for the next quarter century.
When I think of a perfect race car driver, but yet spokesperson, I look at Richard Petty, you know, as the spokesperson for NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
You know, he's been every year he's won a championship, he's a great champion, and he is a great champion. He's still the king, you know, he's the one they call the king, and he's won all the races and the championships, and I've learned a lot from him, listening to him, racing with him, talking about me when I raced bad with him. Just a lot of things, but he's brought a lot to the sport, been innovative in a lot of ways, bringing to the sport. So he's definitely the king in my book.
I need to run. I need to be strong. I need to be fast. I need to keep going. I need to remember not to set my Budweiser on the back of some truck. I need a doctor. I need to run.
What's for lunch? Pember and jelly. Ham and cheese. Another day.
Morning, boys. How are you?
Morning, Mr. France.
Nice looking shirt you got on there.
Doug, these drivers are ready, and they are looking sharp. Right you are, Chuck.
There's the green, and the chase is on.
Chase Authentics Apparel.
That's why it's called the Intimidator.
The chase is on.
And it's a fight to the finish.
Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Had a good run today.
Yeah, thanks a million.
Nice check.
Nice shirt.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Can't get your car to turn over? Get over to Pep Boys for a new Pro Start battery. Whether you have a Jeep or Jaguar, a Buick or Blazer, Pep Boys has a new Pro Start starting at $44.99 that'll fit almost any car. And for a limited time with any Pro Start Plus, Performance, International, or Premium battery, you'll get a $10 Pep Boys merchandise certificate good for just about anything in the store. So get things right and get going.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
In the first 25 years of NASCAR's existence, the sanctioning body depended heavily upon U.S. automakers to support and promote the series. From the earliest days of factory support from manufacturers like Hudson and Nash, to the 60s support from Ford and Chrysler, the sport was highly dependent upon Detroit. In 1971, that all changed when a new partner emerged.
Because Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
North Carolina-based R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company wanted a new avenue to promote their Winston brand, following the ban of cigarette television commercials. Junior Johnson made the first contact with Winston, but only after he consulted a trusted friend.
I was in New York City one night in a hotel, and the phone rang, and Junior Johnson had tracked me down. Junior Johnson had some sort of a lead with a tobacco company, wouldn't say which one it was, it turns out it was R.J. Reynolds, to sponsor his cars. And there was some talk at the time about cigarette advertising on television being iffy. And Junior asked me on the phone if the television camera could erase the sponsorship on the car as it went by. I'll always remember that question.
I approached them about sponsoring a stock car. They asked me, what kind of money I was talking about, and I said, well, I need about I think back in it's about $700,000-800,000. They said, Lord have mercy, we need something bigger than that. That's, nothing that we like racing and it would do us some good, but we're looking for something humongous. And you know how you are sitting around trying to think, well, if they got that much money, what can I get them into, and it struck me that, well, they might want to do something with the whole NASCAR division, not knowing what it might turn out to be. And they said, well, who runs NASCAR? And of course, I told them, Bill Francine run it, and told him how to get a hold of him, and I also called Bill Francine and told him he was going to call him.
The irony of the thing was that they had the idea of sponsoring an event. That's really what they wanted to do. They didn't really have any interest in sponsoring the series, and we talked them into that.
In '71, people were showing up at tracks with there was a lot of used stuff running in big races, and it was a survival thing. RJR came along, and at a time when we were wobbly, and really picked this sport up and went somewhere with it.
The change came when RJR and Nabisco came into our sport in 1971. They knew marketing. Nobody in the sport understood marketing, and they taught all of us a great deal about marketing. They have been the biggest things ever happened to our sport.
With Winston, NASCAR now had a marketing partner who could help promote their sport in many places that were inaccessible in the past for the stock car series. It was also a time of change in the leadership of NASCAR. On January 11th, 1972, NASCAR's founder, William Henry Getty France, passed the torch of leadership to his son, William Clifton France, commonly called Bill Jr. At age 38, Bill Jr. was prepared for the job, following a lifetime of working side by side with his father.
I think that everyone in auto racing was very concerned when Big Bill France, the guy who started it all, when he stepped aside. Oh my goodness. Billy's got to run this now. Bill Jr.'s got to run this now. I think everyone was really concerned about that. But you know what? Our concern was not justified because Billy has done a tremendous job of understanding the sport and moving the sport forward.
When a parent hands off something to one of his children in American business, only a certain percentage of those handoffs work. And Bill France was the right man for his time. And Bill France Jr. is the right man for his time, and they're different. I think Bill France Jr. has done more for NASCAR than his father.
He's so philosophical when it comes to reasoning with things and people and sponsors. Everybody can be upset about something's been changed in the rules or the system that it's going to upset the world, and you go to him and, oh, Bill, this big problem, this, that. When you come out of there, you're just really, oh, it's going to be okay, you know. It's just a few words of wisdom from him and just the way he expresses himself and the words that come out of his mouth that makes everything okay.
With Winston as a partner and a new president at the helm, the ingredients for future success were in place.
You know, R.J. Reynolds basically supported this whole program, and with the ideals of Bill France and what he's done in the sport, it became a great match.
What? Huh? Ah, right. Good idea. That's good.
Some days it's all the help you need. The Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. It's life listed alphabetically.
Sure, a satellite TV system works okay, as long as nothing gets in the way. With Cox Digital Cable, our fiber optic-based network is connected directly to your home for a clearer, more reliable picture. Who exactly fixes a satellite TV system? Other than you, that is. With Cox Digital Cable, service and repair are free and guaranteed, should you ever have a problem.
Following is brought to you by Hoops Malone.
What's with the big sandwich, Hoops?
Hey, some getting ready for tournament week. First up, it's the Mass Mutual U game as Kevin Freeman and UConn battle Monty Mack and UMass. Then it's off to Maui where Ed Cota drives the Tar Heels against the Trojans. And later, Georgetown tackles the Tigers. UMass UConn at 7 on ESPN2, North Carolina Southern Cal at 9 on ESPN, Georgetown Memphis at 11:30 on ESPN2 tomorrow.
Nobody does hoops like ESPN and ESPN2.
Anyone who has earned the title of king needs to have a challenger to measure his excellence. For Richard Petty, his greatest rival was David Pearson. After Petty's Rookie of the Year title in 1959, Pearson would follow as the top rookie of 1960. Throughout the years that followed, their paths would cross on many occasions. When it was Pearson versus Petty, it was a battle of wits as well as horsepower. The 1974 Pepsi 400 at Daytona was originally thought to be their ultimate battle.
Right, coming down out of turn number 4, coming down past the start-finish line. And Pearson backs off for Petty. Something wrong with Pearson. Petty takes the lead. I think Pearson backs off of it.
It looks almost as he ran out of petrol or something. I've never seen anything like this happen before. It could be very bad luck for him, but my goodness, what an advantage. Richard Petty. The crowd are absolutely on their feet and yelling. Richard Petty's got an enormous advantage. 300 or 400 yards, it looks like, on that back straightaway down there at almost 200 miles an hour. And there is David Pearson falling back on this very last lap of this fantastic race, but he seems to be closing up, Keith.
To have stopped so suddenly, to have suddenly slowed up like that, makes me think, though, Jackie, he backed off on purpose because obviously he's still got horsepower and he's now closed it right in behind Richard Petty as they turn and come for home. Can Pearson slingshot him as he comes down low? Petty may run him into the fence and it's going to be Pearson winning it. An incredible, daring move, and it paid off for David Pearson.
Well, Chris, I knew that if I let him stay behind me, that he would draft me and beat me, so I just backed off right there at the last flag, the white flag, and let him go on by, then I got him back, coming off the board.
You know, David, I've never seen a driver so in control of the situation as you were. Didn't you have any doubts at all that you'd win?
Well, oh, yeah, I was all the time. I really didn't know for sure where I could get him back or not. In fact, I like to slow it up a little too much. when I let him go by me.
Now, when he came off the car, what did you think? Did you think that something had gone wrong? What was your immediate reaction?
When I was right behind him and being he went off all the way, if he'd have feathered out of it, then I would have, you know, figured what he was doing. But when he went all the way off on it, then it kind of scared me because I like to run over it. You know, I wasn't expecting him to run off on it, and it was really a dangerous move from that standpoint.
So you really did get a big surprise.
Yeah, really, I had to jerk the car around, you know, and I got a little bit out of shape, really, to jerk it around and miss him. And it was just one of them things that I think that was awful obvious for him to do something like that, just to show how much faster he was than the rest of it.
Some thought that finish could never be topped in the battle of NASCAR royalty, but the 1976 Daytona 500 would prove them wrong. Entering the 76 season, Petty was on a roll, capturing his 6th NASCAR Winston Cup championship in 1975. Pearson was also hot, winning 21 races in the previous 3 seasons, driving for one of the most respected teams in NASCAR history, the Wood Brothers. ABC Sports was live at Daytona for the final laps of what is generally acknowledged as the greatest finish in NASCAR history.
Everybody is standing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Look at David Pearson. He has moved closer. Can he do it?
He's going to pull out now. He's going to try for the
I don't know. He's down on the inside. He's got the lead, but there's a car ahead of him.
In 1976, we came down to a last lap situation like a lot of the Daytona races had come, and you know, I happened to be leading the race, and Pearson was running second, and I knew he was going to pass me up the backstretch. There wasn't anything I could do about it, and sure enough, here he comes, just motored right on by me. And when he did, he went in the corner and moved up a little bit.
When he came up, my left front fender caught his left rear, and that, well, of course, both of us spinning around and everything.
I'm sitting there, and that thing's spinning, and it's going toward the start-finish line, and I said, you know, I'm going to win this thing backwards, you know.
And he didn't keep his car running, and he stopped right before we got to the finish line, so I turned around and went on across the finish line and won the race. But when I seen him coming up, now I probably could have backed off and let him get in front of me, but I knew that checkered flag was waving, you know.
Pearson now has the lead. Petty tries to go back down on the inside as they come out of the 4th turn. They only have about 750 yards to go. Oh! It's a straightaway. They did hit. Petty smashes into the wall. Will he come across the start-finish line? He's going to win the race. He's going to win it spinning, as he, I believe, will take the checkered flag. No, he did not make it. He is less than 100 yards from it. Here comes Pearson. Pearson is going to try to make it across the finish line. Petty has his car going. Pearson's going to win it. Oh, gosh, Randall, he wins the race.
What a finish for a motor race. I've never seen anything like that.
It's unbelievable.
Richard, I guess, is one of the closest friends I got, as far as that goes. I hope he is anyway. But no, we didn't fuss about it. As far as I know, I don't reckon we've ever fussed about anything, you know. But now we have beat and banged a lot. But we never did spin each other out for meanest.
That was another one of the incidents that was a bad incident from my standpoint, and probably Pearson's too, but he went up winning. But it was good for racing because everybody wanted to see it again. Everybody wanted to know about it. Everybody wanted to know what happened. So it wasn't a deal where on Monday it said Pearson wins and Petty runs second. It kept it in the paper for a lot of different times, and we've been hashing it around for all these years. So it had to be a big deal, and really was a big plus for Winston Cup racing.
Bill France's marvelous creation at Daytona had once again produced a dramatic finish, with the 2 biggest winners in NASCAR history at the absolute peak of their skills. NASCAR's greatest moment? I say yes, but there are even more great moments ahead.
What's for lunch?
Cranberry and jelly. Ham and cheese. Another day.
Morning, boys.
$1.
How are you?
Morning, Mr. France.
Nice looking shirt you got on there.
Doug, these drivers are ready, and they are looking sharp. Right you are, Chuck.
There's the green, and the chase is on.
Chase Authentics Apparel.
That's why it's called the Intimidator.
The chase is on.
And it's a fight to the finish.
Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Had a good run today.
Yeah, thanks a million.
Nice check.
Nice shirt.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
Thank you.
mountains of Busch Beer, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
Eleazar said to the men of war which went to battle, "This is the path. Take heed."
Father, hi. How you doing? Good to see you. Listen, couldn't help noticing you're reading from Proverbs 31:21. It's okay. It's a good choice. It's decent. But for pregame, you might want to consider Proverbs 4:2. A little bit more inspiring, more uplifting for the team unity. All right? Come on, Father. A little bit more color in your stove. Come on, go, Father, go.
For the first 30 years of NASCAR's existence, television coverage of the sport consisted mainly of edited highlights shown on ABC's Wide World of Sports. In the mid-70s, ABC would cut in live for the conclusion of big events, like the Southern 500 and the Daytona 500. But airtime was too precious to set aside a 4-hour block to show an entire race. But NASCAR was not alone in that fact. With only 3 networks broadcasting with limited airtime, many major sports were neglected. In 1979, CBS Sports made a bold move. They would broadcast the Daytona 500 live from start to finish, and the stars of NASCAR did not disappoint.
I'm not sure that we really knew what to expect televising a 500-mile race from start to finish on the CBS network. Now, certainly we prepared ourselves in every way that we could as far as the drivers' records and knowing. Of course, I knew all the drivers then, so that helped me tremendously. But I think that that's one of the greatest breakthroughs that our sport has had because it was live all over the United States. A terrible weather day, especially in the Northeast that day. They were snowed in, couldn't do anything else except watch the race on television, and so it got a good audience that day. And then to have the type of event that we had.
Cale Yarborough came into the Daytona 500 with a lot of momentum. He had just captured his unprecedented 3rd consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup championship, driving for Junior Johnson. As the race unfolded, it turned into a final lap shootout between Yarborough and Donnie Allison.
I felt like I knew where he was going to try to pass me. Strangely enough, when we started off turn 2 and I saw him go down, it surprised me a little bit.
When I pulled out to go around Donnie, going down the backstretch on the last lap, making my slingshot move on him, he just eased me right on off the racetrack.
I did not run him in the grass. We hit very hard side to side, and then when he went in the grass the last time,
I certainly tried to keep it away from Donnie because if I could have got it straight, I still had a chance of winning the race.
You know, he was still in the throttle wide open. I was never out of the racetrack yet. I was still on pavement the whole time. And really and truthfully, at that time, I said, well, you son of a gun, when we crash up here, we both will be wide open.
Donnie Allison throws the block. Cale hits him. He slides. Donnie Allison slides. They hit again. They drive into the turn. They're hitting the wall. They're head on the wall. They slide down to the inside. Let's watch those 3rd-place cars. They're out of it. Petty is out in front. At the line. Walter to the inside. Petty wins it. There's a fight between Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison.
When he hit Bobby, Bobby's still sitting in the seat.
You know, I just felt like I was being double teamed.
So I grabbed Cale by the arm and I turned him around. I said, if you want to fight, I'm the one you got to be fighting with. And believe me, Cale Yarborough to this day wish he never would have walked over and slapped Bobby.
It was live on CBS. The cameras were right on us, and they say, you know, these are real people. And I think it's one of the best things ever happened to the sport.
There was a huge blizzard, almost coast to coast that Sunday, and CBS had a captive audience.
You couldn't have scripted it any better to get people's attention as far as NASCAR Winston Cup racing is concerned.
We wrecked on the last lap of the Daytona 500, then they end up in the 3rd and 4th turn fighting and throwing helmets at each other. So I think that created a lot of interest, not only for racers, but the fans to say, hey, you know, this is pretty interesting. We better check on this and watch.
The 1979 Daytona 500 was a huge success in the ratings. It proved that a large audience would sit still for 500 miles, especially if they were entertaining. In the period following the 1979 Daytona 500, cable television would begin to become more accessible from coast to coast. Programmers were looking for live events to attract a national audience, and NASCAR was ready, with a sport that had been on a steady rise for the previous 30 years.
Hey, we gotta talk. That stuff only protects my vital parts for about 30,000 miles. And then what happens? You gotta change it. Make it easy on yourself. Give me Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. It protects my sensitive parts for 5 years or 150,000 miles. That's 5 times longer than most of those conventional coolants. Now, let's talk oil.
Hey! Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. Add more life to your car.
You go right there. There you go. Right there, baby. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. Right there, baby. That's all you, man.
I like those guys.
College Football Thursday.
It's the Rebels and Bulldogs on Thanksgiving. Somebody's going home with a heaping helping of humble pie.
College game night at 7:30. Ole Miss, Mississippi State at 8. Thursday on ESPN.
In 1984, NASCAR racing was enjoying increased popularity. A majority of the races were now being shown live on network and cable television. New stars were emerging. Drivers like Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, and Bill Elliott pushed series veterans like Bobby Allison, Cale Yarborough, and Darrell Waltrip. NASCAR's biggest star, Richard Petty, was in pursuit of a magic number. In a career that now included 7 NASCAR Winston Cup championships and 7 Daytona 500 wins, there was one more goal on his horizon: win number 200. Win number 199 came at Dover in May. In the next 4 races, Petty would finish no better than 13th. But his optimism was high because the next race on the schedule was at Daytona, the track that helped make him the king. For the first time in NASCAR history, a sitting president of the United States would visit Daytona for America's biggest Independence Day celebration. President Ronald Reagan gave the starting command from Air Force One as he traveled toward the Florida coastline.
All right, gentlemen, start your engines.
8 different drivers took turns at the point of the Pepsi Firecracker 400 in the early stages, but the final quarter of the race boiled down to a duel between Cale Yarborough and Petty. ABC Sports was on hand once again for this historic occasion.
Lap 150, and a car is spun out. Doug Heveren's car is spun out in turn 1. So now the yellow caution flag may be coming out. Indeed, as I look just below us, the yellow caution flag is going to come out. This will, in all intents and purposes, perhaps be the last lap of the race. The rule requires them to solidify under the caution at the beginning of the next lap.
It's an incredible situation now. Are they going to race to the line? This is an interesting rule situation, Jim. You are allowed to race to the line once the yellow has come out. Cale Yarborough did that. Richard Petty is counterattacking. This may be the race that we're looking at here as they sweep up into traffic. A highly dangerous situation. These
coming down the front straight. Here they are, Sam. They will come across the yellow line just about together, but Petty had the lead. By the nose of the car, Richard Petty was just in front of Cale Yarborough as they came across the line.
You've been around this sport so long that you may not get terribly excited at the prospect of winning a race, but was there a little extra thrill in winning, knowing that the #1 fan was here today?
Well, definitely. 200 is very, very important, but under the circumstances, with all the presidents that's ever been in the United States, this is the first one that's ever showed up at a racetrack. So everybody's got to go from that, from a racing standpoint, and I wanted to be the one that was able to welcome him to Grand National Racing. It's sort of a Hollywood script that nobody would believe, nobody would buy, because here I am, a big Republican, big Reagan fan anyway, and here we are, the 4th of July, coming for the 200th win, and you win it on the last fast lap. I mean, it wasn't on the last lap, but the last lap you run under green. Nobody would believe that stuff.
Oh, it was a great day. When Ronald Reagan came, it was the first time we've had a sitting president at one of our events. It was just a great day for the sport, all the sports.
I was 4 years old, I guess, when he won his 200th win at Daytona, when Ronald Reagan was there and all that. And that was pretty exciting. And being there for that, and for that
You know, that was a prized moment in the Petty family.
That was a great accomplishment for anybody, and you know, to have the president there to witness that and the support that he gave the sport, I think that really gave a lot of national attention to NASCAR racing and you know, to a great career that Richard Petty had.
It was a day for the history books. Perfect conditions, increased mainstream media attention to the race because of President Reagan's presence, and Richard Petty achieving a crowning moment to his career. No doubt, one of NASCAR's greatest moments.
What's for lunch?
Hamburger and jelly.
Ham and cheese.
Another day.
Morning, boys. How are you?
Morning, Mr. France.
Nice looking shirt you got on there.
Doug, these drivers are ready, and they are looking sharp. Right you are, Chuck.
There's the green, and the chase is on.
Chase Authentics Apparel.
That's why it's called the Intimidator.
The chase is on.
And it's a fight to the finish.
Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Had a good run today.
Thanks a million.
Nice check.
Nice shirt.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
We are here today working alongside Habitat for Humanity. You start with something that's just a slab of ground, and you help build a dream alongside the people that are going to live in this home. We have NASCAR involved, we have Joe Gibbs involved, we have Tony Stewart involved.
We got some cheap manual labor here.
We try to reach out to the community, really become part of the community, and we're here to really make a difference and to say thank you to the community. The keys to the home, and
thank you.
You're very welcome.
He's in the garage.
Hey! If you're going to have a garage, have a garage. And if you're going to use an oil, use an oil. Pennzoil with Pure Base, specially formulated for stop-and-go driving.
Like what I've done with the place? Hey, what does this do? Well, that opens up the roof so I can airlift anything in or out of the garage.
Stop. Go. Pennzoil. And now with Gum Out Extra, you can drive your fuel injectors clean in one tank full.
There's something special about the folks who work at AutoZone. The fact that they know more than a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. Their willingness to go the extra mile. And their belief in doing what's right. So it's no wonder why millions of customers turn to us each week for help in getting back on the road. Because working at AutoZone means taking pride in taking care of people.
This is a NASCAR 2000 Thought for the Future, brought to you by Budweiser.
If they're already involved in it, or if they're trying to get involved in it, is don't take any shortcuts to do it. Do it right if you're going to do it, because now competition is at an all-time high. The level of competition today is unreal. So don't take any shortcuts and do it yourself. Get involved in it. Build your cars yourself. Do it. Don't stand back and let somebody else do it. Really get involved. Get hands-on. So that's nothing anybody can take away from you. If you do it yourself and learn it yourself, the pride and the knowledge that you're going to get will take you a lot further than probably equipment will.
Hello, I'm Jason Priestley, and this is NASCAR's Greatest Moments. In R.J. Reynolds' 14th year of sponsorship in NASCAR, a new awards program was introduced. It was called the Winston Million. $1 million bonus would be paid to any driver who might be able to win 3 of the 4 NASCAR Crown Jewel events: the Daytona 500, the Winston 500 at Talladega, the Coca-Cola World 600 at Charlotte, or the Southern 500. Only 2 drivers in NASCAR history had accomplished that feat: Leroy Yarbrough in 1969 and David Pearson in 1976. A most unlikely candidate for the $1 million prize emerged from the red clay hills of Dawsonville, Georgia.
We had some great drivers from Georgia for so long, and then we had a dry period there, and he came out of the Georgia mountains with his brothers and taught us a lot, taught everybody a lot about how to get from 0 to 60 real fast.
Bill Elliott was entering his 10th season of NASCAR competition with just 4 career wins to his credit. His Harry Melling-owned team was a family operation, with horsepower supplied by Bill's brother Ernie's engines.
You got to understand, the way I grew up and the background that I came from was, I worked hard on a race car, and if a race car ran good, then it got attention, and that was kind of the only way. Is, I didn't have the luxury of doing it the other way, and that's the things that we worked hard to do. We came here, we worked a lot of long nights, all night, whatever it took to do what we needed to do, and that's what helped us get us to the next step.
Elliott served notice at the Daytona 500 that he was taking his assault on the Winston Million seriously. He dominated speedweeks, winning the pole, a 125-mile qualifying race, and leading 136 of the 200 laps that make up the Daytona 500. 9 weeks later at Talladega, Elliott would pull off one of the most amazing feats in motorsport history. After dominating the early stages of the Winston 500, Elliott was forced to the pits for a green flag pit stop on lap 48, suffering from an oil leak. With repairs made, Elliott returned to the track nearly 5 miles behind the leader. In less than 100 laps of flat-out green flag racing, Elliott caught and passed the leaders to make up the deficit and go on to win the Winston 500 at a new 500-mile race record of 186.288 miles per hour. Elliott's first shot at winning the million came at Charlotte in the World 600. But Elliott was relegated to an 18th place finish after suffering a number of mechanical problems. When Elliott arrived at Darlington for the Labor Day Classic, he was the center of attention.
It was at that time and remains the greatest media craze I've ever seen at a racetrack. A lot of people absolutely would not leave the man alone. He would crawl under the race car. He works on his own race car. There was a camera or a microphone under the race car with him. And Bill has admitted in years since he didn't know how to handle it. And I've written and expressed it this way: I'm very surprised that his hair didn't fall out like Roger Maris's did when he was chasing Babe Ruth's home run record in '61. That's how tough the situation was.
When the green flag fell on the 36th Southern 500, Elliott grabbed the early lead from his pole position starting spot. Bill would hang in the top 5 positions for most of the day, dodging several on-track incidents that might rob him of his $1 million payday. In the final stages of the 4-hour marathon race, Cale Yarborough looked to be Elliott's most serious contender. While leading on lap 323, Yarborough's Ford erupted in smoke as a broken power steering hose poured hot fluid on his engine. Elliott avoided disaster and went on to lead the final 44 laps as he headed for the history books.
Bill Elliott is racing into the record books. Bill Elliott is going toward immortality. Bill Elliott gets the checkered flag. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
The victory lane was just dazzling. It absolutely was dazzling. These dollar bills were falling on our heads, and everybody was just so excited. It was a dramatic, exciting, fun moment. I think that was one of the pivotal moments in Winston Cup racing to that point. But it didn't end there. The thing I think that impressed me the most about the day was not what I experienced in Victory Lane, but what I experienced driving to the airport at Charlotte. Because people all the way to Charlotte were on their porches, and they were celebrating, and they had signs, and they had banners, and it was as if the whole state of first South Carolina, then North Carolina, were celebrating this dramatic sports event that had happened right in their own backyard. It's a day I'll never forget.
Bill Elliott's win of the Winston Million at the Southern 500 at Darlington was another great moment for NASCAR. It was front-page news on many major publications and helped propel Bill Elliott into the national spotlight as a new American hero.
Sure, a satellite TV system works okay, as long as nothing gets in the way. With Cox Digital Cable, our fiber optic-based network is connected directly to your home for a clearer, more reliable picture. Who exactly fixes a satellite TV system? Other than you, that is. With Cox Digital Cable, service and repair are free and guaranteed, should you ever have a problem.
Don't let bad credit or no credit keep you from buying a car. Hi, I'm Fran Tarkin, and for 1-800-BAR-NONE. Each week, we're helping to put thousands of people just like you back on the road. If you're working, we can help. Call 1-800-BAR-NONE. It's fast, easy, and absolutely free. And we'll complete and accept your loan application in 5 minutes or less. Operators are standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the car you need and deserve. Call 1-800-BAR-NONE right now.
The seats to battle with the Jaguars on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
I like playing in New Orleans, but it's hot down there.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
Exactly.
Oh, boy, here we go.
I can't take the humidity. I always get a bad case of the prickly heat.
Could we get through one night without him mentioning his prickly heat? It's disgusting. It's the Saints against the Jaguars on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It all begins with NFL primetime at 7:30.
I got a salve that works real good on the prickly heat.
Don't encourage him.
NASCAR has always been a family-oriented sport. Its founder, Bill France, always wanted his family members to be involved in the day-to-day operation of the growing sanctioning body. Through the years, it has not been uncommon for NASCAR races to feature brother versus brother or father versus son on the racetrack. Family involvement is even extended to the television broadcast booth, where two-time NASCAR champion Ned Jarrett has had the opportunity to watch his son Dale develop into a champion.
They bump, they touch, they rub, going down the backstretch, side by side, wheel to wheel. Who is it going to be in the Champion Spark Plug 400? Jarrett has the slight advantage as they go into the third and fourth corners. Davey Allison battles back on the outside. It's going to be a photo finish. They touch coming down through the tri-oval at the line. Who wins it? I believe Jarrett.
To be able to be there when he won his first one and working that telecast along with Bob Jenkins and Benny Parsons. It was very, very exciting. I didn't know how I might react, what I might say. Thank goodness Bob and Benny were there to carry the ball, and I was really uptight because I didn't know if he could pull it off. I knew he was racing against one of the best in the business, and certainly one of the best cars, the 28 car of Robert Yates. Davey Allison was one of the best drivers of all time, and there Dale was racing with him for that win, and then to pull it off, it was so meaningful because of the way that he did it. I would not have wanted him to win his first race by going out and lapping the field or even running away by 2 or 3 seconds. To do it battling right down to the checkered flag, not knowing who was going to win until they crossed that start-finish line, boy, it just couldn't have been any better than that.
At times, brother versus brother racing has been heated, moving past the boiling point.
Oh! And a go-9 spin coming off turn 4 right in front of the entire field.
Look at everybody going to the inside to try to avoid the trouble, some coming down pit road. Well, you saw there contact between brothers, Brett and Jeff.
In other instances, the hard racing has been friendly, as was the case at Atlanta in 1996, when both of the Labonte brothers were able to reach their goals.
Bobby Labonte is in turner number 4 now, coming off of it, and Bobby Labonte wins the race. The checkered flag comes out, and Terry Labonte has become the 1996 NASCAR Winston Cup champion.
During the race, you know, Bobby, he was up front most of the day, but Dad was, you know, it was so tight of a points battle. It was really, he had to finish in the top 10, and Jeff, if he had to win and all this, and, you know, he was in position to do it, and it was pretty nerve-wracking there towards the end, and Dad ended up, you know, winning the championship. But that was just a big weekend. Yeah, all the people there, and you know, everybody in my family was there, and it was just a great weekend.
Perhaps the most famous family finish in NASCAR history came in the 1988 Daytona 500. For years, the Allison family had been front and center of the group known as the Alabama Gang, which consisted of Bobby and Donnie Allison, Neil Bonnet, and Red Farmer. In 1987, Davey Allison emerged as the star of the gang, as well as the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. He became the first rookie in NASCAR history to win 2 races on his way to the Rookie of the Year title. From their second and third starting positions, Davey and Bobby were near the front of the pack all day at the 88 Daytona 500. As the final laps unfolded, it was apparent it would be a history-making day.
And they have enough lead to believe this is going to be a battle between the father and son. I don't think anybody else can try it, but here he comes. He's going to do it.
To the bottom. He's down low. Bobby Allison high. Davey Allison trying the inside move. Bobby Allison holds him off. They come to the stripe. And the winner of the 30th annual Great American Race, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison, his son, in second. Judy Allison ecstatic. What a tremendous family performance.
For the Allison family, it was a day to cherish. In the years to come, fate would deal the Allisons many cruel blows. A racing accident 4 months later would rob Bobby of his memory of the day and nearly take his life.
Probably the greatest event that could have ever happened to a person, I can't remember. You know, I won the Daytona 500 at age 50, and the best young man in racing was second behind me, and that was my son Davey. And then when I was injured later that year, the memory loss that I had has taken that completely away. I know it happened. I can look at pictures, I can read books, I can even look at videotapes, but I can't remember any piece of it myself.
Davey would become one of NASCAR Winston Cup Racing's biggest stars, but would face a tragedy even greater than his father just a few years in the future. But the golden image of a father-son 1-2 finish in the Daytona 500 will always be remembered.
As America's first choice in beer during the past century, we invite you to toast the new millennium with the same clean, crisp taste you've always enjoyed. Budweiser. Now in limited edition Millennium Magnums, bottles, and cans. Now, as always, this Bud's for you.
Can't get your car to turn over? Get over to Pep Boys for a new Pro Start battery. Whether you have a Jeep or Jaguar, a Buick or Blazer, Pep Boys has a new Pro Start starting at $44.99 that'll fit almost any car. And for a limited time with any Pro Start Plus, Performance, International, or Premium battery, you'll get a $10 Pep Boys merchandise certificate good for just about anything in the store. So get things right and get going.
Pep Boys. Cars like us. People love us.
Tonight on ESPN at 7 Sports Center, at 7:30 NFL primetime, at 8:15 Sunday Night Football as the Saints battle the Jaguars. On ESPN2 at 8:30 NASCAR Today, at 9 RPM tonight, and at 9:30 the Winston Cup Napa 500. And on ESPN Classic, beginning at 7 Classic Click and Picks, and at 10 Wimbledon 1982. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Few seasons in NASCAR Winston Cup history will be able to match 1992. Late in 1991, Richard Petty announced that 1992 would be his last season. It would be called his Fan Appreciation Tour, giving fans at each stop of the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour the opportunity for one last chance to watch the King in action. From Martinsville to Sonoma, his loyal subjects paid tribute. He attracted fans from all segments of society. President George Bush came to visit at Daytona in July as Petty ran his last race at the track he had helped to open 33 years earlier. He electrified the crowd when he put his STP Pontiac in the lead early in the race, rekindling memories of his exemplary career one last time on the world-famous Tri-Oval. While Petty attracted millions to his tour, the fans were entertained with on-track action that would continue to widen NASCAR's fan base. In the season opener, Davey Allison captured the Daytona 500 with his father on hand to celebrate a return to glory for the Alabama gang. Bill Elliott reeled off 4 consecutive wins for legendary car owner Junior Johnson. Allison and Elliott would contend for the NASCAR Winston Cup title all season long, in a season that featured spectacular racing action and incredible escapes from horrifying accidents.
Oh, and he's upside down. Into the guardrail, side over side, end over end, and Davey Allison has experienced a horrifying crash.
With $1 million paycheck awaiting the champion, the battle for the Winston Cup was intense. As the series headed for the season finale in Atlanta at the Hooters 500, there were 6 drivers with a mathematical chance at the title. In an historic footnote to the day, Jeff Gordon made his first career Winston Cup start for Hendrick Motorsports.
That was Richard Petty's last race. And at the drivers' meeting, he gave every driver that started that race a money clip that had, it said Richard Petty's, final race, had the date on it, had a sort of a emblem of the King on it, and then had, 21st, your starting position. And I believe it even had my name on it. And I put that in the safe right away.
Davey Allison came into the race as the points leader, needing only to finish 5th or better to clinch his first title. Davey was running just where he needed to be when the hands of fate slapped the trophy out of his grasp.
Davey Allison is in the crash, Bob. Oh, Ernie Irvin, and it's all over for Davey Allison. No, it's not over yet. I don't think he hit him that hard, maybe. Well, he hit pretty well, I think.
He's got a lot of damage to the right side of the car.
Ernie Irvin spinning, coming off of corner number 4. Davey has got his car moving. Yeah, he's trying to pull away.
But he can't steer it.
But it won't turn. It won't turn. The right front will not work. Oh, no, the right front won't work. He's broken the tie rod end off the car, so when they turn the steering wheel, the right front tire won't turn. And there he's a lap down. And now it's going to come down to 2. Will it be Alan Kowicki or Bill Elliott? Davey Allison's long, tough, emotional season has come to an end.
Alan Kowicki was the most unlikely of contenders for the title. He had not led in points all season and had all but conceded the title in September when a crash eliminated him from the race at Dover.
Not a very good day for us. Probably pretty much ruins our championship over for this year, but we'll be back.
With Allison out of the running, the championship battle shifted to Kowicki and Elliott. Both drivers fought to lead each lap, knowing the bonus points for leading most laps could be the difference in deciding the title. It was a battle of wits between Elliott's crew chief Tim Brewer and Kowicki's chief Paul Andrews. Andrews chose wisely, allowing Kowicki to stretch his fuel mileage and stay on the track for a few additional laps to clinch the bonus points for leading most laps. As the final lap was contested, Elliott had led 102 laps, but Kowicki had led 103, giving him a 10-point cushion in the closest points championship battle in NASCAR Winston Cup history.
We are focused in on Alan Kowicki, who is going to win the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup and the $1 million bonus that goes with it. Bill Elliott comes off the 4th corner. He wins the